Joining the studio with me now is our royal correspondent, Nicholas Owen. Well, Nick, the Prince made that admission of unfaithfulness. Has this documentary hurt him?
Well, the Prince's allies have been saying since Monday that they wanted people to judge him on the whole film, not just dwell on a few selected quotations. And many people, I'm sure, will be very impressed, particularly at things like the way he behaved under fire in Australia. The trouble is he bears his soul on almost every topic, including his marriage, so he can be picked apart and criticised on so many things. And as that Conservative MP indicated, some of what he said does raise fundamental questions about the future of the Crown.
As you say, he's expressed his views on a wide range of issues. Which are the most important?
Well, I think there will be great concentration on what he says about religion. I am one of the people who searches, he says. He wishes to be defender of faith, not the faith. Nice thought, hard constitutional issue. The great, with his children there, the rumbustious hide and seek with Prince Harry at Balmoral and so on, the interesting ideas, community service and so on. But running through is a thread which will, I think, evoke great sympathy, complaint about the lack of privacy, the intrusion of the media.
He's been in the news in another capacity today as the pilot in a near-air disaster.
Yes, of course, we've no idea exactly what went wrong on Isla today, but he has had more than his fair share of scrapes in all sorts of areas. The trouble is, as he kept saying, every step, every stumble is chronicled. My feeling really was that it was absolutely incredible to see the heir to the throne grilled about his personal life. And he looked at times a very sad figure, really, a man who is clearly in great turmoil and great anguish. It was a great historic moment for all sorts of reasons. Whether the Prince lives to regret it, we're going to know, I suppose, in the next few weeks. Thank you, Nick.
Yet another delay to rail services through the Channel Tunnel was announced today. The high-speed passenger trains due to start running from London to Paris and Brussels this Friday won't now start until the end of September at the very earliest. The French and Belgians are blaming Britain. Our South of England correspondent Robert Hall reports.
It's the flagship of the new cross-channel rail services, but tonight the Eurostar, one of the fastest trains in the world, is once more held back by the frustrating delays that have haunted the Channel Tunnel project. The problem, once more, is the disparity between track and signalling on either side of the channel. Here, engineers estimate they need at least a further 2 months to resolve problems which would force a dramatic speed reduction once the Eurostar reached the British end of the tunnel.
Trains running through run on 3 electrical systems and on 4 signalling systems. So one of the main problems is simply testing these trains and making sure they'll run and won't break down while in the tunnel.
The decision to delay services was taken jointly by French, Belgian and British Railways. But Eurotunnel, who are still carrying out safety and evacuation drills ahead of full passenger services, refute talk of a further setback. They maintain that with freight shuttles already running, their phased startup is on schedule. Confidence in the prestige 3-hour passenger service between London and Paris is crucial to the project's success. But potential customers now using the ferries may have to wait until the end of the year to travel by tunnel.
The government's new league tables for hospitals published today have been sharply criticised for what they don't measure, like standards of treatment. They've been called meaningless and a gimmick. The general public didn't seem sure what to make of them, as our health correspondent Anya Sitharam reports.
Patients were finally able to peruse the long-awaited hospital league tables today. This was their reaction.
I can't make sense of it, and the star system certainly looks most complicated.
Is it for the public to use, or is it just for the doctors to use? Because if the public doesn't understand any of this.
The Health Secretary, Virginia Bottomley, said the tables were the key to a more open, accountable NHS. She said they showed standards had improved, although no hospital had scored 5 stars in every category.
To mothers who, years gone by, used to be booked in at 9 in the morning with 2 young children might not be seen till lunchtime. The fact that 8 out of 10 outpatients are now seen within half an hour is a demonstration of what can be achieved when you measure what's happening in the NHS.
The hospital categories measure outpatient waiting times, whether patients are immediately assessed in accident and emergency, non-emergency treatment waiting times, priority for patients with cancelled operations, and the number of same-day operations. There were gold stars for patients at Great Ormond Street Hospital today, but it fared poorly, its waiting times higher than others. One reason doctors say because more patients want to go there. Doctors also criticise the inclusion of day operations.
Some patients need to stay in overnight when they've had a hernia done, and to award hospital points because it ruthlessly kicks them out doesn't seem to be very much to do with patient care.
The Secretary of State has spent over £500,000 of our money on what amounts to an Egon Run guide to the hospital service, but without telling it anything about quality, about standards, about the time it takes to see a consultant, and without giving the patient a single choice of which hospital they'll be able to go to.
The government says it plans to extend the categories included in the tables, but measuring clinical performance is a long way off. Until it does so, critics say the tables will be meaningless. Anya Sitaram, News of 10, at the Department of Health.
Still to come, the inquest witness with a theory about the school minibus crash. More strikes, more frustration, how the rail dispute will escalate. And accused again, why Becker believes the press are now turning on him.
The main problem is Andre Agassi's out. and you gotta find a guy to fill in the space.
Like most people who want to set up a small business, I couldn't see the wood for the trees.